When Hollywood gets religion, the box office rejoices. This weekend's top 4 films include Noah, based on the Old Testament man of the same name, and God's Not Dead, an overtly Christian story of a young man who stands up for his faith against his atheist professor and over the objections of his career-focused Christian girlfriend. I'm PJTV's Scott Ott, joined now by Stephen Green and Bill Whittle. Men, let's take Russell Crowe's Gladiator meets Titanic first. There's a flood, there's some animals, and a guy named Noah. And almost everything else is fantasy, or as they say, artistic license. Now, Stephen Green, should Christians and Jews quit whining about the inaccuracies in the movie and just be glad that some Hollywood heathens actually cracked open a Bible for once? Or are the movie makers knuckleheads for aggravating a huge market sector by playing fast and loose with the sacred scriptures?
Oh, gosh, I'm not sure I have the standing to really properly answer your question, but I will say this. In my Twitter feed and in the blogs I read and the people I talk with, I don't think I've seen the devout this divided, maybe since Martin Luther got out his hammer and nail. I exaggerate, of course. But the divide I see is the complaint that you've listed here, where, yeah, they take a tale of the earth being punished, or humanity being punished for wickedness, and turn it into an environmental and ecological tale that, God is saving the planet from pollution or whatever. But I also see devout Christians and Jews saying, hey, at least Hollywood is trying. And the box office seems to reflect, I think, more of the latter view. The movie is doing great. I expect it to do even better in home video, which is, I think, when I'll see it. I don't think I'll bother with this one on the big screen. But you know what? I think that's a sign I fall on. Hollywood is trying, and if you want them to try more of this, reward it. And if the movie isn't as good as the book, well, how often is it?
Well, now God's Not Dead follows in the footsteps of other movies like Fireproof and Facing the Giants, with on-the-nose proclamations of the existence of a sovereign yet personal God. And while no one involved in these movies is getting a swag bag at the Oscars this year, audiences love it. And the pictures made on the cheap recover their production, marketing, and distribution costs, and then some. So Bill Whittle, what's it going to take for Hollywood to jump into the values vacuum and make movies that look, oh, I don't know, more like life for the vast majority in flyover country?
Well, first of all, I did see God's Not Dead. That's not Hollywood. Hollywood cannot, will not, won't make a movie like this under any circumstances. Noah is Hollywood. And as you pointed out, there are some inaccuracies that Hollywood added. Apparently the ark, you know more about the biblical story than I do, Scott, but apparently the ark did not strike an iceberg and go down, and Leonardo DiCaprio sink into the frozen waves. But so you really got you really have two very different animals here. Noah is in fact a Hollywood movie, big budget movie, as you can see Paramount Pictures there. So just real quickly on Noah, I think people should at the very least understand that the fact that Hollywood is making the movie about God, where God is a real being who causes events in the world, is pretty shocking today, to be honest with you. And then if you go to God's Not Dead, what you really have is something completely different. You've got a product of parallel Hollywood. You've got a product of filmmakers who really aren't in the Hollywood system at all. I'm sure the money didn't come from Hollywood. I'm sure the distribution didn't come from Hollywood. But I think the point that especially God's Not Dead makes is, as you said, especially if you can keep your costs under control. If you make a movie that doesn't treat half of the country like either snake handlers or pedophiles, then you will in fact see some green out of this. People go to see these movies. It's the first movie that many people have been able to take their families to see in 3 or 4 years. So there is a market for them, and the fact that these two movies plus the two we talked about last time are in the top are the top 4 does say that America is still, I think, a fundamentally conservative country.
Well, there's a reason why the Bible can still draw a crowd. Even heathen Hollywood is drawn to its cosmic sweep, its passionate intimacy, and its timeless morality. Believers should welcome the opportunity to use films like Noah to start conversations about the true story of judgment and redemption that inspired the movie. And Christian filmmakers need to have a bit more faith that they can tell subtler stories without the sermons necessarily. Stories that convey the truth and beauty of the gospel in ways that call the harassed and helpless to come to Jesus and to find rest for their souls. For Bill and Steve and the entire Trifecta crew at pjtv.com, I'm Scott Ott.